Vic Mornington, how is everybody doing? Vic Mornington on the Mornington channel. So, as you've seen with the previous video, the plan, at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks, is we're going to be having a look at 5 or 6, in some cases very well known, and in some cases not well known and brand new, roleplay communities or light roleplay communities dotted around Second Life. And one of the reasons that this is happening is myself and a couple of bloggers and a couple of vloggers have decided to kind of push a little bit, at least, the whole roleplay aspect or light roleplay aspect of Second Life, because there is a lot of different communities out there, whether you're talking the historical side of things with the likes of Caledon or New Babbage, whether you're talking about the futuristic kind of things with sci-fi, or whether you're talking, in the case of most of the places I'm going to be looking at, whether you're talking of modern contemporary, in other words, current day settings. Now, the place I'm standing in right now is one of a collection of estates that's under the Elysion heading. Now, there's going to be a caveat at the very beginning of this video. Getting here is going to cost you money. It's one of those estates that are locked to entrance, and the only way you can enter that estate is by joining an overall single group, and joining that group is not free. This is one of those kind of, I won't say exclusive, because anybody can basically join the group, but it does cost money to join the group, so it's kind of exclusive. We are here at Native Souls, which is basically the best looking Californian based region or regions out there in the grid right now. If I just pull this camera out, you'll see what I mean when we have a look at how they've done the landscaping here. It's based on the Californian coastline, and you can tell that because the entire ridge that we're looking at here, with all the buildings, all the landscaping that's going on, is basically a coastal road. And the way that this has been set up to work, this coastal road goes along. You do have houses and rentals across here, as you would expect. If we pull this camera out even closer, pull this camera out even more, and we follow this road along, you can instantly tell, literally instantly tell, you're driving along a Californian road, not just because of the way that the landscaping's been done, not just because of the way that the flora and fauna has been done, but it's just the overall vibe that you get when you're travelling along this road here along Native Soul. Or we're in Native Soul, by the way. Did I mention that before? Well, I'll mention it now. When you're travelling along Native Soul, it is a collection of regions that is essentially based around this area that we're driving, or at least camming along right now. So this is a coastal region, as you can see. We're just following this road up with the phenomenal landscaping they've done. But if I pull the cam up, you will see that there is a lot more going on here. A lot more going on here. There is individual islands going on, as you can see here, with, again, individual rentals on that island. If we keep panning the camera along, you've got even more coastal islands and coastal inlets just off of the main coast ridge, because there's the main coast ridge that I'm standing on right now, just down from those mountains. It goes on and on and on, all the way right over there. It's a big set of regions, people. It's a big set of regions. Now, the whole point of Elysion, and I remember when Elysion first started up, they didn't have a California region until I think it was round about beginning of last year. I'm trying to remember now the timeline of Elysion, because I remember Elysion first being announced, and from what I remember, it was a Midwest set of regional estates, like based on the Midwest of the United States. And then I think they done, from what I remember, I think they done a northeast coast set of regions, and I think this was one of the final ones, or one of the final big set of regions to be done at the beginning of last year. So we're talking beginning, a kind of February, March of 2023. So they do have quite a number of regions out there, and the way that Elysion have done this, each of these regions sits as basically a contained community under the Elysion brand. So all you need to do to visit all of these different communities is just basically join the one singular group, that's the Elysion group, and you'll have access to all of these individual lands. But I thought I would showcase the California one because this is a an absolutely stunning set of regions, the way that they've laid this out. And unlike a lot, and I'm overgeneralizing here, but unlike a lot of the modern contemporary roleplay communities out there that basically set up a town. So you've got your town hall, you've got your roads, you've got your fire department, your police department. We've all seen the basic layouts of a lot of these communities, including Magnolia, that I do marketing for. So it's like you're talking about Cedar Creek, you're talking about York Hill that we're going to be visiting later on. You're talking about what was New Haven. You're talking about Magnolia City. You're talking about, going historical wise, Caledon. You're talking about Mayville. You're talking about New Babbage. The town settings, right? Town settings where you basically live in a town. The way this has been laid out is rather unique. Not just because of the way it looks, it is probably the best representation of California I have ever seen, but because of the way it's been laid out. It is essentially a chunk of a much larger town. You're not seeing the rest of the town because what they've decided to do is concentrate on the coastal area of that town and then push the coastal area out into the sea. This is the one thing that Elysion is known for, and they've been known for this for a very, very long time now. They build the communities, first of all, based on the landscaping and based on the looks. If you were to show this picture to most people who've never heard of Elysion, they would think that this is actually set up as a holiday resort. It's not. It's actually a rentable, livable town or livable coastal area that you can actually live in. Now, the last time I checked, which was about 3 days ago when I was preparing for this video, the last time I checked the waiting list for any of the Elysion regions, and that includes Native Soul that we're looking at right now, there is no access to the waiting list, which means their waiting list is basically maxed out. They're not taking any more names. And once again, the caveat is if you want to visit these regions, you need to pay to join the group. And I think the last time I checked, it was 1,800 Londons or something like that to join this group. So I will say again, it is kind of an exclusive area, and not just the one we're looking at right now, but all of the regions under the Elysion heading are exclusive areas. It's part of the reason that living on the Elysion estates is kind of looked at as kind of being, oh, look, that person must be rich. Not really. I mean, the rental rates are kind of on par with the likes of the roleplay communities that are currently out there. It's not as if living on an Elysion bit of land is going to be super expensive, because it's not really. The only hurdle is joining the group to actually access the regions. It's going to cost about 1,700, 1,800 Londons to actually join the group. But once you join that group, you're going to have access to every one of the Elysion estates. And the last time I checked, I think there's 4 towns, or four communities, should I say, that's under the Elysion heading, with Native Soul, the Californian base one, being one of those regions. And here we are. You can see just the way that this place has been landscaped is just phenomenal. Let's go under this tunnel here. Here we go. And we're at the end of the road. And you've got a little marina and little docks down here at the end. And let's just pull this cam out for one last look. I've got the draw distance whacked up to 1,000, and I've made the mistake of leaving shadows on. That's why I'm lagging a little bit here, but let's just have one last flyover. I mean, look at the landscaping they've got here. This is just stunning, and again, it's probably the reason it's a little bit of an exclusive area to join. If you want to see California the way California really is, then you've got to have a look at this place. You've got to have a look at this place. The last time I was here, which is a while ago now, the last time I was here, they were actually still in the process of getting the place built. And looking at what they've done here, they have done an absolutely phenomenal job in just pulling this camera up. The islands, inlets, islets, and little tiny private islands just go on and on and on, further down the coast and further out from the coast that you go. I will be leaving a link to the Elysion website down in the description. You will not be able to directly join the place that I'm looking at right now, because again, you're going to have to visit the group. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a link to the Elysion website down below. I'm also going to leave a link to the general landmark that people who are joining Elysion for the first time generally go to find more information about Elysion. Anyway, that's it from me, folks. As always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.